Today on Talk of the Aisle, we have a very special episode. We are chatting with Melissa McManus, who is a premium wedding and boudoir photographer based in the Philadelphia area. She is known for her embodied, energy-driven, editorial documentary approach to capturing life's most intimate moments. Through her brand, M2 Photography, and some may say also her husband's brand, she creates spaces where women feel truly seen, not performed for, but witnessed in their realness. Her work is rooted in the belief that presence matters more than perfection, and that vulnerability, when held with care, becomes a doorway to power. Beyond the camera, Melissa is a facilitator, dance medicine practitioner, and a women's empowerment guide through her brand, Melissa B. Zen. She leads transformative workshops and retreats centered on feminine embodiment, intuitive movement, and the reclamation of women's bodies as sacred. She also works as DJ Zandora, weaving music as a tool for transformation and presence. Everything that Melissa does, from photography to facilitation, is rooted in one core belief: that women deserve to be held with deep intention, to be seen in their wholeness, and to experience their bodies not as something to hide or perform, but as the home they inhabit in this one precious life. She's a girl's girl through and through, and the trust and care she brings to every session, every retreat, every moment is the real work. With that said, Melissa, welcome to Talk of the Aisle.
Thanks for having me on your podcast.
Yeah. And I'm going to be honest, this is actually going to be a lot easier because usually I have my partner with me and she's just always like hogging the screen and like,
Yeah, I hear she's amazing, actually.
maybe, possibly.
But thank you for introducing me. I've never, it's so weird being introduced by people because, that's just not normal. And I'm like tearing up over here. I should have brought my tissues out here. And I'm like, oh gosh, can I get through this episode without leaking?
Maybe not.
Probably not.
But I'm excited to do something a little bit different that still is directly tied to the work that we do together through the business and in this industry, but also to allow us to kind of peel back the curtain a little bit for those who aren't really familiar with you beyond that part of yourself, which is one of the things that I love about you, is that you are not a one-trick pony. You
I
don't.
got a lot of tricks.
Yeah, you don't just identify as a wedding photographer because you're not just that. That happens to be one of the things that you do, but you are and have always been pretty eclectic. So there is a whole other side to you that hopefully people can get a chance to see today. That said, I suppose we should start. I'm going to adjust my camera.
Your light looks very beautiful.
Thank you.
Your hair looks great too.
I don't think so. I'm not sure where you're at, but it looks really nice.
This is what I call my backyard Zen den. This is
Okay.
where some of the magic happens. There's different locations that we can do, but this is one of them.
I love that you literally have that. Okay. All right. I need to focus.
It's not set up anymore, but these are, they're just so fun to be around.
I see that. And hopefully you can concentrate long enough that we can get through these questions. So to start off, your work is described as healing and empowering. Can you speak to how being photographed in vulnerability actually catalyzes a woman's transformation?
Yeah. So the feedback that I have gotten a lot with my work is that it's been healing for women. And a lot of times, I think a lot of women come into a boudoir shoot not realizing that they're also there for healing. I don't think they realize that. But it's not every day that we typically allow ourselves to be seen in that vulnerable way and to be seen by another, especially a woman. Um, there's a whole history of negativity with women. And so to be seen by a sister and to be hyped up as a sister, by a sister, It really does it's a very empowering experience, and I think that that's not what women are expecting when they go into a boudoir shoot, that they're gonna leave feeling so empowered in their skin and, like, I mean, women in general, most of us, I would say the good majority of us have had a love-hate relationship with our body
Mm,
at some point in our lives. And it's, it's the society that we live in. We are taught um, to keep small. We're taught to hate our bodies because they're easier to control when we don't, love ourselves.
mm,
So I think when they come into my space and I provide that holding for them, they leave. I don't want to say more whole, but they leave more empowered than when they stepped in.
mm. And are you kind of priming that experience ahead of time with the way that you communicate with them?
Oh, yeah, from, the very first, interaction, the first email, I really explained to them, I tried to prepare them, "This is the way I shoot." It's not just you're coming in for sexy photos. It is an experience. Um, also as women, we've been so over sexualized in this society. So it's I don't want that to feel like it's part of the experience. I want them to feel um deeply embodied when they're here. And I think that every single woman, truly, every single woman is beautiful to me. So to be able to I'm sorry, it's all serious moving around. He wants to hear this. He's a
It's
feminist. So okay, where was I at? Give me a second.
so you want them everyone you see everyone as being beautiful.
Yes. Yes. And I feel like, through my journey, I haven't always felt that way in my own skin. So to be able to provide that space for women,
Mm,
um, to feel that is something that's really important to me. So then from that first interaction to my questionnaire that I send them, it's very detailed because I want to know where you're at. I want to meet you where you're at. I want to be sensitive to the things that you're holding. I want to be sensitive to things that you're ready to reclaim,
yeah,
um, what you're ready to let go of. Because the way I design my experience, even down to my playlist, which I curate a playlist for every single woman because every single woman has different music that hypes them up. Um, Everything is intentional. So I gather this information and then I curate an experience that is truly tailored to them. And then the experience is the experience. And then afterwards, when I share their photos, everything is just it's intentional and it's mindful and I put myself in that situation, if I were to allow someone to see me in such a vulnerable way, how would I wanna be treated? How would I wanna be held?
mm,
And that's where I come from that. This is how I would wanna be held, something with a deep care,
yeah,
because women's bodies and the way that we have lived in these bodies deserve deep care.
yeah, and I would imagine what happens a lot for you and your clients is that they maybe are initially coming in because 'cause they're like, "I wanna do some sexy photos for my husband or partner to be," um, but then you're like, "No, no, no, no. There this is actually
I'm
what
gonna
you're
put a pin
doing."
in that.
Like, that's the fringe benefit, right?
Yeah.
Whereas I do think obviously there are a large, uh, percentage of boudoir photographers who don't have this other side of it as you do, which is fine too, like,
Teach
women
their own, yeah.
there's nothing wrong with just celebrating, your body and kind
Yeah.
of focusing on just
Please
that side.
celebrate your bodies.
Yeah, so
Yeah, so I definitely the brides that I work with, that is usually the first thing that they say is, "Oh, I would love to do some sexy photos for my partner for their wedding day." And I love that. I do love that. But then I also kind of redirect that okay, that might be your why, but how about let's do it for you first? Because if we're doing it for you, if we are celebrating you and your body in this life, um, that allows it removes the pressure for doing it for someone else. You're doing it for yourself first, and that to me, it sheds layers and I'm able to get more authentic, magnetic images, of the woman because it's like, "Oh, we're not just doing sexy photos for someone else, we're doing it for me," and then that partner benefits from that, and and I would think, like, and I can't speak for all men because 'cause I'm not a man, but just so you know.
Trust me, she's not a
But
man.
but I think that if this was my partner,
Mm.
I would love to see them truly relaxed, magnetic, in in their own joy. Like, that would be a massive turn on to me, you know? Like, that's the way I approach it. Like, you wanna see your partner in their most natural, free state.
Yeah,
That's to me, that is sexy.
I would agree with that, and
Yeah. You're a man, so you can speak for yourself.
that's what I've heard. S so you also do this type of work through, and this wasn't part of our conversation, but because you do something called Sips and Nips,
Yeah.
which is a slightly different model from a business standpoint, but it's the same idea, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to speak to that briefly?
Yeah, so once a year, I do an event called Sips and Nips, which I came up with this name one day when I was just like outside enjoying a mocktail, sipping my mocktail. And I was just like, oh my gosh. And I was thinking about like the work that I do in the female empowerment work. And something that I really want to do is have this type of work be accessible for women because boudoir photography is not cheap.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why it's not cheap. But I do also believe that all women deserve to be seen and held in that container, um, to as much as my ability, at least, to be able to provide that. So Sips and Nips, it's a very intimate container. We have a hype girl when you come in. She helps you, like she gives you the mocktails. She keeps you like feeling good. And then and there's typically like other women around too. And like the women that I attract seem to be just like really, really great women, and just like very supportive women. So from the moment you walk in, you feel supported, you feel warm, you feel just like hyped up. And then my shoot is a 30-minute shoot versus a 60-minute shoot. So it is more of a mini session, but it's still enough time for me to really get beautiful images of the women. And it's like a sample, I guess.
Yeah.
It's a mini session.
Yeah.
But it comes at a fraction of because I'm able to, sorry. Can you hear me? I'm sorry.
I can hear you.
Okay. Um, hit the chord.
You started at it
But
comes at a
I am
fraction.
able to give that a fraction of the cost because, I'm making it as
Start over. Do the fraction of the cost thing again. Sorry.
hold on, I can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
Hold on. Uh,
No.
okay, I hear you. Sorry, I kicked something with my leg. Continue. What were we talking about?
You were saying that you're able to offer it as a fraction of the cost.
Yeah, so I'm able to offer these sessions at a fraction of the cost, for anyone who would like that experience, but may not necessarily have the budget for a full experience. Um, and I do once a year because they are a lot, it does require a lot of my time and intention. So I'm still building, a playlist for every single woman. I'm still giving them their questionnaire. There's still as much time that goes into it
Yeah.
than like my regular, shoots, like the preparation time.
Yeah.
So, and I also just like, I want them to fill up because it is a really, really great event. And so I do one a year. So if that's something that you're interested in, look out for it. I already did mine this year, but maybe I'll do one later in the year or early next year.
Yeah. Awesome. And it's been how many years since you've been doing that?
This is my third year. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah,
Very cool.
and I love it.
Yeah.
I love it a lot.
Um, and to kind of pivot a little bit, but obviously it ties into all this conversation. Can you share how your own journey with disembodiment and healing has led you to this work for holding space for women to reconnect with their bodies and their aliveness?
Yeah. So hopefully I can get through this one without tears. Um, but a big part of my why of why I do this why I'm on this journey and why I offer this work is because I was not always that person that was so free and comfortable in their skin. In fact, I was the complete opposite of that. For about 7 to 9 years, I suffered a really bad eating disorder, and it was probably the lowest part of my life and the most disconnected part of my life. And it was a real struggle, a real journey to come back to my body and to come to a place of real self-love, not just like I love myself, no, like real radical self-love.
Yeah.
And it hasn't been easy. And now being, the mother of two daughters, that was when I had my girls, that was something that was like, that was I looked at that as like this is a doorway. This is an opportunity for you to really live in integrity and live in self-love for not only yourself but also your children. Like you need to model this. So that is when really my journey began. And I have done so much work, so much therapy, so much somatic work, which is, you know, kind of how I've fallen into the somatic practice the DJing that I do for women. Um, but everything that I've done has kind of brought me back home. And, this has been a 15, 20 year, wait, how old am I right now? About 15, 20, do the math, a 15, 20 year journey. And I've learned a lot, right? I've learned a lot. And I do feel like I embody who I say that I am. And I feel like I have gifts in it from this journey. I have lived experience that I think is so valuable. So that is what I bring to my work, and that is the care and the love that I hold for the women in my spaces. Because and a lot of the women that come to me are either disconnected from their bodies or don't fully feel comfortable in their skin, or maybe they've gone through childbirth and now their body's different.
Mm.
Um, so there's so many different types of stories that are coming into my space, and I need to hold them with reverence and love and deep care. And I think my journey that I've taken so far, to back to my own self love, is really such a gift that I get to give other women because I see them.
Yeah.
You don't have to come into my space and be like the most confident, free person. Like that's a freaking journey, right? Like
Yeah.
I am now at a point in my life where I'm like, I am the most free that I've ever been, but I also know that there's still more freedom to be had. So
Yeah.
it's like it's an ever unfolding journey of freeing yourself, not like, you know, freeing yourself in, I mean, yeah, like society, but also just like freeing yourself from the beliefs that you hold about yourself.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's really where my journey began, and this is where I am now. And I do feel like what I bring is it's unique because I've lived it, and I came at boudoir photography and just female empowerment photography from a very lived experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. I admittedly I knew some of that already, but um, so my follow-up question to that is, um, just like how yoga is a practice, is that work a practice as well? And is there at times like an ebb and a flow with it? Where if it's like if you're not, I don't want to say keep putting in the work, because there is I imagine, just like for myself with work that I've done on like personal development, where like you do have breakthroughs. So it's like you
Yeah.
kind of like break through a level, and then that's your floor now,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah.
Is it similar to that?
Yeah. I think self-love is a massive, massive practice,
Yeah.
and a practice that literally everyone should be on. Um, but unfortunately, it's not a very comfortable practice. because you're going to meet, I mean, just like, being in the society, it doesn't want you to be extremely free and confident in your skin. It actually thrives better when you're not.
Right.
And so,
Right.
um, and for me, that's part of my freedom is like, no, I'm going to love myself. I'm going to show up my wholeness and I'm going to just like live my best life. And I'm going to help other people do the same.
Mm.
But it's like, yeah, you hit a glass ceiling and you're like, okay, here's an edge. There's so many freaking edges, like so many edges. It's like finding an edge, like, oh, this makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But why does it make me uncomfortable? Like, for instance, boudoir photography. Oh, being seen, that makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Why does it make me uncomfortable? It's probably because as women, being seen is incredibly uncomfortable because we're taught to not be seen. We're taught to keep ourselves covered up and quiet and like don't be too much. So like being your full self at that time feels extremely uncomfortable. But then I see that there's that edge is an opportunity to grow. Right. So if you just go if you just like soften that edge and you go a little bit past that, like, okay, so now I get to see you. I get to see you in your wholeness.
Yeah.
You leave here and you're like, huh, that actually was really beautiful. That felt really good to be seen. And
Yeah.
then you show up as a different person the next day. It's like
Yeah.
you're constantly moving that edge of comfort. And I love finding my own edges. And I feel like that's really like what has allowed me to grow as a human being and to be the person I am today because I'm not afraid of feeling uncomfortable. I'm afraid of feeling too comfortable, to be honest.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, so like self-love is a massive practice. And every day when I wake up, like some little thing that I do every day, or I try to do it every day. I'm not perfect, I'm human. But I'll look in the mirror and I'll just be like, I fucking love you.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. That's important. I so I randomly saw a clip of Sia, the singer,
Oh yeah, yeah.
who, who I know maybe a song of hers, but
She was in that show that we were just watching.
oh, Company Retreat. Highly recommend. If
Great
anyone,
show.
if anyone
Jury
saw,
duty as
yeah, if
well.
anyone saw Jerry Duty. uh, Today's episode is sponsored by Company Retreat. I don't even know what platform it's on or anything, but
Amazon,
thank you.
maybe.
So what I was gonna say is that someone had asked her, it was like an interview or something. She's like, and they were like, how do you show up for yourself? How do you have so much confidence? How are you so convicted in who you are and all this stuff? And she was like, I do the work. She's like, I do the mirror work.
Yeah.
I look at myself in the mirror every day in the eyes and I say these things to myself.
Yeah.
And she's like, it's the hardest thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
So that's like what it reminded me of. And it is uncomfortable. Even for me, it's funny because like I don't look at my face that much.
You
And when
should.
I'm
It's pretty.
and oh thanks, it's the lighting. But when I'm in like when I'm in the bathroom doing my hair, I don't look at myself. I just look at my hair, which is not bad to look at. But like, it's just an interesting thing. There's just like this. It's an easy way to have avoidance, in some sort of way. Because I'm not. Ironically, I'm not a visual person. I'm a very inside the head person. I'm not embodied nearly to the extent that you are or that I should be. But enough about me. Anyway, so moving on, there's often a fear underneath hesitation about boudoir. What are women actually afraid of, and how does your space hold that?
Yeah. I think first and foremost, it's terrifying.
Yeah.
Like, because we could take the boudoir photography in however free that you want to take it. I think that some women in their minds are like, oh my God, I have to be completely naked. And you don't have to do anything you don't want to do.
Yeah.
I will find your comfort zone and I will gently push you to be like, and not before the shoot, but once we get into the shoot, once I start seeing you relax, I will gently be like, well, can we do this? Like, how do you feel about this?
Yeah.
And at that point, it's like that trust is built,
Yeah.
So I think the fear comes from like the unknown, like especially if you've never done a shoot like this before. Like how will it go? Will it feel like yes, it's going to feel awkward at first. It's going to feel terrifying at first. Um but who you choose to be your photographer means everything.
Yeah.
And not dogging men that do this work because, again, like there's men that do incredible boudoir photography, but there is something really beautiful about being seen by another woman
Yeah.
because women see women typically in a different lens
Oh yeah.
than men see women. And sometimes I've actually heard, so I photographed a woman last year, and she had said that she had gotten a boudoir shoot when she was in she was midlife when she came to me, which also, sisters, I love photographing midlife women because it's kind of like you know who you are comfortable in your skin, or you're getting there, you're getting to that point of like I don't give a shit. And it's
Yeah.
so freeing. But this woman in particular, she also did a boudoir shoot when she was in her early 20s, I think for a partner. And she had a male photographer, again, not dogging male photographers, but her experience was so different. And she said that the way, like the poses that she was doing and just like the feedback she was getting, it was actually more damaging
Mm,
than empowering. So that
yeah.
is something that you have to consider
Yeah.
because
I
and
mean,
something that you don't think about.
right. I also like I've heard stories of people going to boudoir shoots like in a man's home, and it's like it's actually dangerous, I feel like. I
Yes.
mean, like you and I had this conversation yesterday about when you do your forest bathing, how you will only listen to music with one AirPod because you need to still be on alert. You're in the middle of the woods by yourself, but you can't let your guard down,
I can't
right?
I
And
can't even
like
listen to like music on a speaker because I'm afraid it's gonna
it'll
attract
attract,
attention.
yeah. And then it reminds me of, I think there's this like comedian one time said a line, and they were like, oh, someone asked her like, what would you do? Like, what's the first thing you would do if there was no men on Earth? And then she was like, walk outside at night. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's real. And this is,
Very real.
we're in a consider like safe area. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think but
but
that
the majority of people that I pass on a trail are typically men, and that's okay. I mean, men
yeah,
hunt, men go fishing, men, men aren't inherently bad, right?
right.
Like
Right.
there's really great men out there, but it's like unfortunately that's just the society that we live. That's the conditioning that we have is that we have to always be on alert. We can't fully relax.
Right.
And that is something that is a gift to be able to be with a woman because you can relax like a female photographer. You can hopefully relax if they can get you to that point.
Yeah.
You're not looking over your shoulder, you're not
Yeah.
tensed up, you can actually fully just soften. um and I think that's such a beautiful thing because we as women don't have many places in our lives that we can just fully soften and
Yeah.
relax.
I would even go as far as saying like even with like other spaces that just have women aren't necessarily safe either because,
Sure.
you know, I mean, you and I have had experience in whether it's our industry or just like different situations where it's like it should be a safe space, but it's not. So, which,
But it's filled with meanness.
yeah, it's, but like you mentioned society before, and I feel like there is, like that's a big part. Like we grew up in a very specific type of environment,
Yeah.
which pits us against not just ourselves, but each other.
Yeah,
And
especially women. Yeah, and
yeah,
I could go back to the history of, like, when women started pitting against each other. It goes back to the witchcraft, or the witch trials in
yeah,
Europe, but we won't go down that rabbit hole
yeah,
because we will be
yeah,
here for hours.
yeah,
But yeah, like and again, like, this is, like, a patriarchal thing too, where it's like, if we can get women against each other, then they're not coming together
right,
and pushing forward. It's like they're just busy fighting each other. And, there was a time where I'm not so proud to say that I was not the person I am today. I was not I'm gonna hype you up girl, the girl's girl that I wish that I was,
Yeah.
but I wasn't. But at this point in my life, like I have no place for that in my life. I don't want to
Yeah.
surround myself with women who do not cheer me on and who do not come at our relationship with like love and respect and like sistership. Because I mean, I've lived both sides where, I've had very little female friends, um, and now I have a lot of female friends, and life is better with a lot of female friends. I can tell you that,
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's definitely spaces still to this day that are very, competitive and catty, and
Yeah.
that's just not my vibe
Yeah.
ever.
Which I think is just and again, men are not immune to this either, but this just comes from a space of like scarcity, but also like lack of healing for to overgeneralize, right? Like
Yeah.
you, and that's what's been so nice about getting older and being intentional about how we are growing and changing and evolving and trying to do those things, because progress might seem slow, but it's still there if you're putting in the work. And then the
Oh, yeah.
older that I get, the easier it is for me to um, evolve to where I don't have those feelings and I don't act that way and um, I don't participate in it, right? And it's easier for me to see like those behaviors and disconnect from it because I can't you can't fix someone yourself. Everyone has to do their own work. So it's like, if they're in a space that you and I are putting together and, we're bringing into our space, we can easily avoid all of that because of the energy that we're kind of having them walk into. But if you're going into other spaces and you're one person in a sea of 100, then obviously it's an uphill battle.
Uphill.
Um, you talk about presence over performance. What is the difference and why does it matter so much in this particular moment of a woman's life?
Sorry, I had to let that out. Performance. Um, I've been there. I think that especially now with like social media, and again, like I'm not dogging social media. I think social media has its place and like there's two sides, right? There's the light side of everything and then the shadow side. And
Yeah.
there's so much lightness and great things about social media. And then there's like the shadowy shit where it's like we are kind of and this has always been here, but now with social media, it feels even more rampant, I guess, or maybe we're just noticing it more,
Yeah.
but it's just like performance um, over presence. It's like, why are you doing it? Are you doing it to perform because you want to be received well? Do you want to be uh, um, loved? Do you want to be validated? Whatever. Or is it presence where like none of that shit matters?
Yeah.
So like when I'm photographing women, I I can definitely tell when there's like performance that's coming in. It's like they like and that's just and that's part of my job is to work through that performance and get them to a place of presence. So with my work that I do, it's very sensual, like the environment that I'm in. And I don't mean that like sensual is often like placed in the same category as sexual, which is not
Yeah.
true for me. But like sensual, meaning like how can I get you into your senses? To the smell that you smell as soon as you walk into my studio, to the texture that's on the cover of the bedspread, to the visuals that you see when you come in, to the music that's playing. All of these things are invited to drop you into your body. And when you're in your body, you are truly present because you're not overthinking, you're not overperforming, you're just being. And that's what I want. Like to me, like that is the sexiest thing. If I can get someone to just be in their body, in their presence, um, like my job is done.
Yeah.
Like you are literally giving me gold. But it takes time because we are so conditioned to perform.
Yeah. Yep.
Like that's literally like, and you see it in every industry. You see like humans are just conditioned to perform. Women especially,
Mm.
women have been conditioned to make people comfortable, make people
Right.
like the
Appease
emotional
everybody.
burdens have been
Yeah.
put on us. Like we are, we shouldn't show that we're ever sad or upset or, all of these things. We are conditioned to perform,
Yeah. It,
and and that's not authentic, right?
yeah.
um I like in the work that I do, I want nothing that is not authentic to you. And that's part of the work, right? To be able to pull out that, just that genuine joy, not that
Yeah.
fake joy, like the genuine joy. You can definitely tell the difference between a photo where it's like performance joy
Yeah.
versus just like
Yes.
that joy is moving through her. Like you
Yeah.
can feel it. It's the
Yeah.
feeling. And that's as the space holder, as the photographer, that is my job to do that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and I think like, the women that I work with that are in their 20s and even like 30s, it's like we're still in that performance cycle of like I don't think we have that lived experience yet to get to that point where you're like, "Oh, yeah, no, that was definitely me performing. But this is me, like
Yeah.
this is me." Um and I do think that that's one of the gifts of being, in my midlife now. I'm 42 now, so I've lived through that performance age, and I wish that I could have gotten there sooner. Like, I wish I could have felt more free and more just, um, natural in my just beingness
Yeah.
at an earlier age, because I feel like the sooner you can get there, the sooner you live in freedom. And
Yeah.
so me being 42 and me have already gone through that. Um, like I said, I have like lived experience that I can help coach the younger women that I photograph into that place. Maybe hopefully a little bit sooner than
Yeah.
it took me.
Or even just like letting them know that there is another place to go with it, right? Like I feel like um a lot of people in general, they're just on autopilot and they're not self-evaluating, they're not changing their perspectives, they're not trying to educate themselves and learn new things or expose themselves to new things that can kind of let them know like, okay, something isn't right here. Because one, that's not good for society as a whole if people start becoming self-aware in that respect. But
Okay.
um oh, I was gonna go with that. There was another point to make. But I think you part of the work that you do and people like yourself lets women know that there is an alternative. And what I was gonna say before is that I think it can be really hard to have the space to even try to do the work because things are just difficult in this society, which
Yeah.
doesn't make our society unique in that respect. But the fact that like social media might paint one picture, but that's not the reality for most, and it is hard to live in this modern age. Like it's just
Yeah.
difficult.
It
There's
is.
right. So I
We
think
we've overcomplicated everything.
right, and I think like being able to disconnect in a healthy way and to have the privilege of having space and time to do that work is also
Yeah.
something to recognize because
Right.
it's just not something that people are choosing not to do. Some people
Right.
don't have the capacity.
Nope.
So like that's what makes your sips and nips thing so great is that like women aren't investing an afternoon. They're coming for maybe 45 minutes to an hour for the whole experience, including a 30-minute shoot. And they're getting a glimpse into this other world and being able to be like, oh, I like this, or this is really,
Yeah, that felt really good.
yeah,
Yeah, I really got to drop my mask for 30 minutes.
yeah,
And wow, I bet, and this is something that I get told a lot is, oh my, like I'll show the women like photos in the back of the camera from time to time, and a lot of the feedback I get is, "Oh my God, is that really me?" Like, oh, like it's, and it in a way it makes me so happy to be like, okay, good, they're receiving this, they're loving this. But then flip that and it makes me sad because it's like this is literally how I see you. And like,
This is objectively what you look like.
yeah, yeah. And so this work is very deeply meaningful to me and very deeply personal because I think every single human deserves to be seen like that, right? Like,
Yeah.
but especially women,
Yeah.
we deserve to be seen like that.
Yeah. I agree. Um, my next question for you is boudoir photography isn't cheap. Why does the cost reflect the depth of what you're offering and what you are actually holding as a facilitator?
Yeah, so it is not cheap. But then again, it's like, what is cheap, right? Like, what is expensive? Everyone has like a different. What is expensive to one person isn't it? That's like a whole thing. But there is a lot of care and intention and mindfulness that goes into this type of shoot because um, it isn't that you're just coming in for sexy photos. There is a lot of care, and you have to be well, you should I'm not that you have to be, but you really should be trauma informed, because it is deeply vulnerable to be seen, especially if if you're very open and present, right? Especially if you've never been seen in this way,
Yeah.
um, or if you have any sort of hesitations with yourself about being seen. Like it's so layered and so nuanced. And so like I'm holding a lot. My shoots I say are like typically an hour, but a lot of times they go way beyond that because there are moments where, something might come up. Like I might say something like more empowering and they're not used to hearing that about themselves and some tears might come and that's okay. Like this is as safe of a place as I can make it. I mean, I don't think that there's ever truly a safe space in this world, but like you are held. This is so my Zen Den, I call it my place of radical acceptance. So anything that comes up is okay. Like I've had women that cried with me. I've had women that shared just really personal information about themselves of like if there was an edge, like they shared things that they've never shared with other people before, ever, even like their partner. And it's like those things, like there is a lot of care. And I don't think people really fully realize that. And then also the intention that goes behind it. Like again, like from the questionnaire to the first interaction to the questionnaire to just the building the playlist, because I don't want to play like if you love country and I'm playing like some of my embodied music that I like to play, like that may not resonate with you. So like being really intentional with that because that's again part of like the sensory experience.
Yeah.
And then from the delivery of the photos, like all of these things, they matter. The experience truly does matter, and that is what you're paying for. You're paying for the expertise, the holding, the not just the photography work, not just the images,
Right.
but it's really like you may not have many boudoir shoots in your life. And I do highly recommend that every woman takes one, at least one in their lives. Because when you're 80, you're going to be like, my God, I was a freaking hot trot when I was
Yeah.
40. Why did I not do that?
Or
Um, I've never said the word hot trot
yeah,
before.
I don't know where that came from.
But like you may never do this again. So like let it be a good experience.
Yeah. And I do understand what you're saying there because I think that relates to the work we do with weddings is that everything does matter.
Yeah.
Like maybe in different degrees, but it does matter and it directly affects the end product, which in this case are the photos.
Yeah.
So I think like I think it's such like a mental thing because you could see a photo from a session of yours or like a random like I could see one and be like, "Oh, that's a beautiful picture." But to that person, to that client, they see something 100% different.
Yeah.
And it's not just because it's like their perspective of it in general, but it's also because of their lived experience to create it,
Hmm.
And I think that's what I really love about what we do in general with the photography side is that I think it's a lot deeper than people realize.
Oh yeah.
And
I mean,
that's
I think it's as deep as you can make it, but I think the um, people feel the difference
yeah.
for
And
sure.
yeah, and then in terms of like women showing up, what does it look like for a woman to show up fully as herself in front of your camera? And is that something that you're often having to get to that point in a session or
Yeah. So typically the person that shows up is very different than the person that leaves.
mm,
Um, they show up with all of their limited beliefs and all of the baggage, which is fine because we live in a crazy world that has often hated women. And then it's also like ancestral. Like,
yeah,
I don't know if that's, something that you believe in, but I do believe that we carry energetically what our mothers have passed on to us, our grandmothers, like all
yeah,
of those things, right? So the person that walks into my door, my room, is very different than the person that leaves, typically. So I like to meet women where they are.
yeah,
I don't expect women to be completely comfortable in their skin and confident and like ready to go. If that's where they are, great, I'll meet you
yeah,
there. But if you're not, great, I'll meet you there. It's a journey, right? So like what one woman's current freedom or current um, confidence level might be different than another woman's current confidence level. All of
yeah,
it's beautiful, all of it's welcome. And it's my job to find out, okay, where are we at here? Where are our edges? And I always talk about the edges because again, I love the edges. Where are they at? How can I soften them? How can I pour into this woman in front of me?
yeah,
Like, how can I truly get what I see to land with her so that she can start to see herself a little bit differently or feel it in her body a little bit differently? How can she walk
yeah,
out of here differently than when she walked in? And um, and I do think that there is a lot of trust that women put in me because um, we do always find those edges and we
yeah,
always do soften them. And then they walk away with something deeper than what they had originally thought that they were going to get.
yeah,
And then when they walk out, it is like energetically so noticeably different.
yeah.
And that is like the energy can, that like fires me to keep doing this
Yeah,
work.
yeah. And actually, I think it'd be a really interesting thing to do where you do like a pre and post interview where it's like, how are you feeling? Like tell me about anything that's coming up right now. And then afterwards, like, how do you feel now? Because I feel like being able to quantify that in a way that other people, because I like you have wonderful reviews, obviously, but that kind of contrast could be a really interesting thing to kind of communicate. Um, but earlier you were talking about you said the phrase trauma informed, and I'm not familiar with that. Can you?
So, trauma informed is just being informed of any sort of trauma that might arise. So again, like the work of Boudoir is, um, it's not sexual by nature, but it is sensual, right? So it's like some women want to be fully naked, some women don't, and that, completely fine. Whatever your
Yeah,
comfort level is completely fine. But there's also like that layer of like being seen. Um, they may have never been seen the way that, or have like been as comfortable as they are in front of others, the way they are with me.
yeah,
So like, and sometimes that can just, if there's any sort of trauma, like sexual trauma, or this is like really deep, sexual trauma, or any sort of trauma there of being seen, like it can come up.
yeah,
And it's like just being aware of that and being able to hold that and with deep care. Um, and again, like a lot of people, probably a lot of photographers, they might be incredibly amazing at what they do. Um, but they're missing that piece of like, oh, this could actually
yeah,
come up. And that might be the difference between the way I work and the way other photographers work is that um I want you to feel I want you to like let your layers down. I want to be able to see you in your most beautiful, natural state. And some other photographers may not care to go there.
Yeah.
But because of the direction that I want to go, it yeah, it can excuse me, it can feel extremely vulnerable.
Yeah.
So just being aware of, you know, any the layers coming up that
Yeah. And that's part of the like what your part of your service is kind of working with that side of things. And yeah.
right.
Um,
And I do like I don't mind if stuff does come up. Like if tears come up because it's like okay, like that's welcome here and also like there's stuff here, right? Like there's stuff here that we can like move past because as a women too, like we have been oppressed for so long and like we have shoved a lot of things down. And even to this day, women are not always I don't know. There's still a lot of shit about like just horrible things that are done to women. And we are just made to like not believe them, suppress them. And so like
yeah.
I think it's like really important to just be aware of that. And also and that's part of the healing, right? Like y- you don't have to hold it all by yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Right. Yeah. You're not alone.
yeah, you're not alone.
Um,
Yeah.
so I have two more questions for you.
Okay.
One, if a bride's on the fence, what's one thing you want her to know about claiming her body as sacred in this season?
So um and you don't have to do a boudoir shoot to claim yourself. But I am a big advocate of naming and claiming the season you're in.
Mm,
Um, whether that's, fully confident, whether that's just, just being, giving yourself permission to take up more space than you think that you should.
yeah.
And, uh, to give yourself permission to receive beautiful things in your life. Um, and I think that that's part of it. Again, like you don't have to get naked or anything like that, but like just being seen. Um, allow other people to see you at this time of your life when you're in your 20s because that is going to just carry yourself through your 30s and your 40s. And by the time you're 50, you're just going to be such a baddie in your body that
Yeah.
like that is going to be so magnetic. And I think that that's what honestly, like I want for every single woman is to own themselves, own their orbit, which is a quote from the infamous Carrie Morby that I still say to this day.
Nice.
Own your orbit and take up your damn space.
Mm,
Take it up. Be proud of the body that you're in. It doesn't have to be perfect. Nobody on this planet is perfect. And I think that that's also a trap that women get stuck in the society, especially with social media. It's like, oh, you need to look like this, you need to be like this, and it's just like it's
yeah.
exhausting for women to like let us just be. Let us just be
Yeah.
because we are beautiful and own that.
Yeah.
Like that is the fight. That is the resistance to love yourself so fucking much that the conditions that society puts on you it can't even touch you.
Yeah. Ooh, I love that. I should do some boudoir now.
Better
Um,
grab you.
hey now, a little boudoir. Um, no, this is it. I've actually really enjoyed the conversation because I feel like some of the stuff I've known kind of on a surface level, uh, kind of plain, but to be able to go deeper and to hear more of like the deeper stuff that goes into it, definitely gives me a more of an appreciation for what you do. And it's important, just like the other work you do. I think it's all important. Um, so my last question for you is if you're not seeing anyone, I would love to maybe take you out for a drink sometime. I'm not sure if, your partner, if you have one, if you
I'm
okay.
married.
Uh, I'll talk to her. I'll talk to her. Oh, snap.
Maybe we can
Okay.
make an arrangement.
Yeah, maybe we can. Never mind. Okay. Sorry, I had to. All right, we're gonna wrap this up. Um, thank you for your time.
Thanks for interviewing me.
You're welcome. Maybe you return the favor one day.
Oh, yeah, I love that.
I have nothing to share, but
Yes, you do.
maybe
You have so much there. What are you talking about? Crazy man.
we'll figure it out. All right, love.
All right.
Okay, okay, bye.